Generation STEM is brought to you thanks to the help from the National Science Foundation and its collaborative association with the Center for Games and Impact, VEME, Eline Media, Haku, and Arizona State University.
On this episode of Generation STEM, her natural curiosity made her question everything around her, and she started to look for answers in the dazzling world of science. With chemistry in one hand and engineering in the other, a researcher turned her ideas into helpful devices for everyone to use. The laboratory is the place where a scientist has declared a war against bacteria every day. A young student of medicine gives us great advice about passion and dedication to succeed in her career. Welcome to Generation STEM. Welcome to Generation STEM, a series that talks about different careers in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM. My name is Gabriel Salgado, and I will be with you throughout this episode. When we talk about our health, we only think about medicine, and we never really think about its relationship with other disciplines like chemistry or biology. Perla Perez is a 17-year-old Dominican girl who studies in New York. Her curiosity and the desire to know about different subjects and to find answers to many of her questions led her to win prizes in scientific events. Her story can be very inspiring for young students who, like Carla, want to make a difference in the world.
My name's Perla Perez and I'm 17 years old. My family's from the Dominican Republic and I just finished high school, Bronx Center for Science and Mathematics. Next time I'll be headed towards Siena College on a full scholarship. I knew since I was very young that I was interested in science because science was the only thing that had the answer to all of my curious questions. I would question my environment, I would question people and why they were so different from each other. I'd question everything, practically. I'd play in the dirt and soil from the park and play with worms and all these insects, and I'd question their texture, I'd question the color of the dirt, and I'd question plants and why are their leaves a certain color, and I'd question everything. I'd come back home and ask my mom all these questions and she just wouldn't have the answer. Since I knew that I wanted to pursue a career in the sciences and that I didn't really know all that much about the sciences as I could, I decided to take research courses, extracurriculars, and participate in a bunch of programs outside of school. I took research courses on conservation genetics, on astrophysics, at the American Museum of Natural History. I took a forensic science course at Lehman College. I participated in a medical program at Mount Sinai. I just really wanted to expand my knowledge in the sciences since it's such a broad area. And by taking all these courses and participating in all these extracurriculars, I definitely knew that I wanted to pursue a career in the sciences. One of the most impactful events I've participated in is the New York City Science and Engineering Fair. I'd been wanting to participate since freshman year of high school, and I started junior year and finished senior year. I didn't really know how to start or how to go about my research project or what to even compete with. So I started off with Google and the internet. I started researching key terms and problems in the science world that I might be interested in. And I came across this one article about BPA and how this Dominican street food vendor was posing health risks to her consumers. She sold sweets under plastic wrap, and from there, BPA got onto the food and caused potential harm to her consumers. And then from that small article, the question arose to me, why isn't there an investigation in New York City on BPA on the food that street food vendors sell, and why? Is it present in the food that street food vendors sell, and what can we do about it? So I became really interested and fascinated in this chemical and started my research project by making sample collections. I would heat up my food for less than a minute and I'd package it and send it off to a laboratory in Richmond, Virginia called the Schneider Laboratories. After that, I made another set of collections with the Schneider Laboratories, but this time it was with food that was being sold by street food vendors in my city. And after I got my results back from both collections, I was able to conclude that the chemical is present in the food that street food vendors sell right here in New York City, right here in the Bronx. And I was also proud and able to say that I won first place in the New York City Science and Engineering Fair as a Latina student, as a girl, as a student who didn't work in the laboratory, and anyone can do it. My dream is to become a doctor. It doesn't matter how long it takes, how much work it takes, how much effort, how many tears, nor how much sweat it takes. I will be a doctor. I want to become a doctor. However, one of my other major dreams is to help my community in the way that it's helped me. More specifically, I want to help students like me, students filled with passion and curiosity and love for the sciences, but students who don't have the resources to fulfill their passion, students who would like to conduct experimentations and participate in scientific programs. I want to help those people. I want to help these students. I want to help students like me, and this is my dream.
Despite her young age, Carla has studied multiple different STEM disciplines. She is getting ready to go to college to be either a doctor or a researcher. We are sure that with her attitude, she will go very far. She is a good example of the great opportunities that those who take their future seriously have in the world of STEM disciplines. Do not forget to visit our website for more information about STEM careers, financial aid, and much more. When we come back, a scientist makes a device in her lab to help us achieve a healthy life. On our next segment, we'll meet Erika Forzani, an Argentinian biochemist who came to the United States to complete her education more than a decade ago. She said that her desire to learn transformed her into a hybrid between chemistry and engineering. She has developed a device that can help us have a very healthy life. Let's meet Erika, her passion for science, and learn about the device she developed.
My name is Erika Forzani. I studied clinical chemistry initially, and then I did a PhD in chemistry, both in Córdoba National University, Argentina. And after my PhD, I did a postdoctoral research in University of Buenos Aires. I came to US 13 years ago as a postdoctoral researcher, but all of a sudden I found that this environment was really wonderful to develop an aspect of my career that I couldn't find in Argentina. But the story on how I decided to stay in US is very funny, because one day while I was deciding what to do, I was talking to my mom on the phone, and I was telling to my mom, "Oh, Mom, I don't know what I will do, because every time I think I will leave this place and I will have to leave all the resources I have here, I start to cry." So my mom said, "Oh, okay, you don't know what to do, but you have already made your decision. It's not that it's that you are not realizing it." So she made me realize that what I really wanted is staying here. I always wanted to be a person in a lab, searching answers to questions. Clinical chemistry was the first example that I learned, because it was something that I saw when I went to a hospital, and I was attracted for these professionals in the lab investigating health parameters. So I saw, okay, PhD will give me another tool to see life differently. So that's why I pursued that degree. And the fact of deciding coming to US was critical, because I realized that the need of creating technologies, bringing other areas like engineering, basically was absolutely phenomenal, because I realized that I could transmit knowledge to professionals in other areas. Basically, our main motivation is creating devices that can help people to know more about their health status. So the breathing device allows people to know their metabolic rate and to know how many calories they are burning and be the guidance for achievements of certain goals. But we have in the lab development of other devices that are for chronic disease such as asthma. This is breathing, a metabolism tracker that was created at Arizona State University and transferred to a commercial company named Breathing. We can measure how many calories a person can burn during the day. If we know how many calories a person can burn during the day, we can know how many calories that person should be eating in order to reach a target weight, either to increase, decrease, or maintain weight. We have created the sensor chip and an application that connects wirelessly to the metabolism tracker, and the application can provide the total number of calories that a body burns per day, as well as the recommendation for the calorie intake goal. So I realized the need of bringing devices to people's hands where they can immediately realize a result and use that results to make a decision for a better health and better life.
Taking theory to practice was always a priority for Erica. That's why constant collaboration with engineers from different branches has helped her grow professionally. There are hundreds of hours of work and scientific research that goes into developing a device. That's why she said that in order to achieve a goal, we all need to focus, study, and work hard. When we come back, the lab is the battlefield for an epidemiologist who has declared war against bacteria. In this segment, we'll meet Angela Gomez, an epidemiologist who came from Colombia when she was very young. Angela was always attracted to human anatomy and to nature. She ended up studying medicine and specializing in fighting bacteria, those almost invisible organisms that can get inside our body and cause many problems. Angela spends her life in the lab trying to figure out how to fight them in order to protect our health. Let's meet this doctor in her professional environment.
My name is Angela Gomez Simmons. I am a physician researcher in infectious diseases at Columbia University. This means that I am both a doctor and also a researcher, and I am interested in looking at antibiotic-resistant bacteria. I was born in Cali, Colombia. I came to live in the US when I was just a little kid. And in high school, when I formally studied biology, I just was so interested in dissecting things and learning more about the natural world, and then also starting to learn about the human body. So I think this really inspired me to go to medical school. It was very obvious to me even then that I would want to do infectious diseases. So I did a 3-year infectious diseases fellowship after I completed my residency, and then really got involved in doing research. So at that point, I actually decided to do a master's degree in biostatistics and became an epidemiologist in infectious diseases. I do a sort of special type of epidemiology, which is called molecular epidemiology. This means that we look at the DNA of different bacteria in order to figure out how they spread among patients and in the community. The bacteria that I look at in my laboratory are called gram-negative bacteria. These bacteria are able to cause a broad range of different types of infections. In the laboratory, we really start with the patients when we're doing our research projects. This means that we try to identify patients in the hospital or in the clinics who might have an antibiotic-resistant infection. So really, the research questions that we have begin in the clinic with our patients. So here I'm looking at THP1 cells. These are human cells that are from the immune system. What we do is we expose these cells to different bacteria, And we try to see what happens when the cells become exposed, basically if the bacteria are able to kill these different types of cells. Now, the thing I love most about my job are the people that I work with every day. This means the people I work with in the laboratory who are interesting, they're inspiring, they're very dedicated, but also the patients that I see in the clinic and also in the hospital. They not only provide the questions that we want to ask in our research, but they just are great people, they're inspiring, and they really keep me motivated to come to work every day. As an epidemiologist in infectious diseases, I would say the most important skill you have to have is curiosity. You have to want to know why these infections are happening, who they're affecting, and why they're spreading. I think other important tools in epidemiology in general are it's just sort of an interest in math and computers. We use a lot of computer modeling, for example, to figure out how these infections are spreading, also to analyze the DNA, and to identify risk factors for different types of infections. Overall, I think if I had to give a piece of advice to students who are interested in studying biology or medicine, I would say let your interests guide you. I think it's a high-pressure field. There are always going to be people pushing you to take this class or take this test, and it's really easy to lose sight of your goals or your endpoints, and to lose your motivation. So if you really try to remember what interests you, and keep that sort of at the forefront, I think you will be motivated throughout your career and really enjoy it as I do.
Angela says that curiosity must be the initial spark to approach a career in epidemiology. Scientific careers are becoming more and more competitive every day. Visit us on our website to find help and information about different STEM careers, how to make up your mind in choosing a major, or how to find assistance to get into a university. When we return, a student of medicine is among the first ones in her class and advises us not to give up education. Brenda Guerrero is another student of medicine who strives to be a top professional in her career. She cannot hide her admiration for the world of sciences. We are going with her to visit her classroom where the physicians and researchers of the future are training.
I'm going to write how many molecules there are there.
My name is Brenda Guerrero. I started Miami-Dade College 2 years ago at the honors program, which are harder courses, larger courses, longer time, stuff like that. And I started off as a biology major, and now I switched off to chemistry with a concentration in biochemistry. As a child, I was very interested in science, just in all the sciences. My parents used to buy me like really nice kid laboratory equipment, so microscopes. So I guess it was just my curiosity that always led me towards the sciences. The scholarships I applied to, I had a variety of all three types of scholarships. I applied to a bunch of private scholarships, maybe like 100, like around 100. And I got maybe 10 or 15. The amounts varied from like $500 to $1,000, $5,000. The other scholarship I got was a grant from the government for a nonprofit that I founded.
I'm gonna calculate it for 0.5.
So the process to get to college or university, whichever one it is you're trying to get to, you need to be a competitive student. So consistency is very important. To do well in your classes, to understand those concepts, the topics that you're doing in school, get to know your professors or your teachers so that you can get help from them whenever you need it. If there's a concept you don't understand in math or in science or even English, getting to know those professors and having them know you on a personal basis is going to help you a lot because they're going to want to help you.
Barium chloride cancels with barium chloride. I became Brenda's mentor for a group that we started here in school. It's called MAPS, and I needed officers for the group, and Brenda volunteered to be the president of the group, and that's how I met her, and that's how I became her mentor.
STEM careers, I think, are important because we're in the technology era, right? And we should keep advancing forward with that. Just recently, NASA sent a telescope out in space, and that was a really big event for them, as well as they're working on supersonic jets, and that's all STEM.
O and the H2O molecules are going to be this.
Brenda is very good at what she does. I have always complimented her. She does what you asked of her and then more. She's always very eager to learn and to get things accomplished and done very quickly.
My parents were very supportive, but obviously we didn't have the resources to pay for this, so I had to find I had to find my own recourse. My grandmother, she was very important in this whole process. Apart from my parents having worked full-time jobs with me as a kid, my grandmother practically raised me, and she really emphasized the importance of education because she wasn't able to have one. She wasn't able to finish middle school. So my advice to the student who wants to go into STEM is to recognize the difficulties behind it. There are really advanced courses and the material is dense at times. If you are someone who likes to challenge yourself and feel accomplished when it comes to understanding those concepts, then STEM is the right field for you.
As you can see, the STEM seal is spreading all over the country. We hope this series has given young students like myself good information about different STEM careers. Many of us might have been inspired to pursue one of them. Now it's important to continue searching for more information in the field of interest. You can start the process by visiting our website for more information or to just begin the journey. It's not difficult, it just requires a little dedication. So, we've come to the end. We hope to see you again on Generation STEM.